Yo, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. What is good? It's your boy Tyrus Bane, aka The Definition, aka Snapzilla Gorilla. Hitting y'all up with this quick live stream where I will be discussing Donald Trump's pick for Department of Health and Human Services Secretary, RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Yes, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He has picked him to become the Secretary of the Department of Health and Health and Human Services. And why? Donald Trump has made quite a few picks in his lead up to taking over as president of the United States. And why do I feel like this one is important? Well, I'm going to get into that. Kamirin, how you doing, Queen Kamirin? Peace and blessings to you as well. My family is great. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful. You had a new video. I got to check that out. Yeah, just so you guys know, you guys should go check out Kamirin Field's channel where she discusses mental health and how to tackle it and how to address it, how to deal with certain things, all that good stuff. And it's kid friendly. So it's kid friendly. Your children can watch it. Your children can take in her content. I've had my daughter check her content out, So as she gets older, my daughter is 14 years old. So as she deals with life more and more, it's important to understand mental health. And Queen Kamirin has a good handle on that as a mental health professional. So there you go. We got somebody in the family that is a mental health professional. So, and speaking of mental health and human health, let's get into why this RFK pick is important. Now, RFK, Robert F. Kennedy, he was a senator, he's a senator, and of the United States government, and he is very, very vocal about human health in this country. He is very vocal about the pharmaceutical industry. He is very vocal about the health of people in this country, and in regards to in regards to basically what is being pushed by the pharmaceutical industry onto the people in regards to how people should be treated for certain things, right? He speaks out against big pharma. He speaks out against needlessly pushing vaccines onto children and whatnot. So naturally, they're going to call him an anti-vaxxer, right? That is what they call this guy. They call Robert F. Kennedy an anti-vaxxer because for years, Robert F. Kennedy has been speaking out about vaccines and the truth behind vaccines and how it's not a one-size-fits-all thing, right? And they really don't like him. Big Pharma does not like Robert F. Kennedy because he speaks out so much about that. His big thing is health. And so, not just health, but what Americans have to face in regards to the chemicals and processed foods and vaccines and all those type of things that are being pushed onto the American people. He's very vocal about that. And, what's funny is after Donald Trump announced him as the pick, right? The pharmaceutical industry stock took a plummet, right? So that just speaks to what they feel Robert F. Kennedy is going to try to accomplish when he takes over as the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services. Because again, they don't like this guy. They don't like how he speaks out against Big Pharma and their predatory behaviors and all that stuff, putting profit before health, treating sickness instead of the individual. He is very vocal against that. And I find it interesting that Donald Trump actually picked this guy, right? Because, you know, it's going to be an uphill battle to even get him confirmed, I think. Even though the Republicans have control of the House and the Senate, that does not mean that Donald Trump is going to have his way when he becomes president. They're probably going to bust his balls, right? They're going to bust his balls. Because that's what they have to do. That's part of the dog and pony show, right? They can't make it easy for Donald Trump to do anything. Because again, that's part of the dog and pony show. So let's say Donald Trump is actually, you know, an enemy of the shadow government or whatever they call it. You know, they call it shadow government. They call it I forgot what they call it. The shadow government. You know, that type of people. The people that they say Donald Trump is trying to go against, or they're going against Donald Trump because they feel like he's going to upset the apple cart. Well, if you look at it, and if you believe in this left-right paradigm, if you look at it through that lens, you see that picking Robert F. Kennedy for this position is upsetting the apple cart. It would upset the apple cart. As a matter of fact, it already has if you look at the stock market. If you look at the stock market, many of the pharmaceutical companies, stocks have dropped because of the concern that Robert F. Kennedy is going to greatly regulate Big Pharma, which it needs to happen, right? That's exactly what needs to happen, right? Because again, their interest is not in treating the individual. It is in treating the disease. It's not about prevention. It's about causing more health issues for the individual, because that's how they make their money. That's just the bottom line to it. The goal of the pharmaceutical industry and the goal of big health, big pharma, you know, the health, the hospital industrial complex, whatever you want to call it. The goal is to keep you sick, and the goal is to make you sick. That's why they put out drugs that that are designed to treat one issue but causes side effects that will force you to get more medication. So if you are sick and they give you medication for it and it causes side effects, you have to get medication for the side effects. And then you have to get medication for the side effects that you're getting from taking the drugs that are you taking for the side effects that they gave you to originally treat the disease. And again, it's about treating the disease. It's not about treating the individual. It's not about prevention, right? Prevention is better than the cure, because in reality, they're not trying to cure you, right? They're trying to maintain your sickness, and they're trying to make it to where, okay, you can live comfortably enough to have some level of quality of life, but you need to take these medications to maintain your quality of life, right? You take these medications to maintain your quality of life. And ostensibly, that is what Robert F. Kennedy is against. You know, he's very, again, I've been paying attention to Robert F. Kennedy for years, and this is his claim to fame, right? This is what he speaks out about all the time. That's his MO. That's how he gains so much notoriety. That's how he gains so much infamy. Matter of fact, that's how he's gained so much infamy in he speaks out against all these things. And here's the thing too. Here's a problem. Here's a bigger problem. Here's why I believe that he's going to have a hard time getting confirmed. So let's see who's in here. Sugar Free Mars in the building. Queen Sugar Free Mars, Queen Kamirin. Thank you guys for coming through. Ricky Manor, the colored conservative. I'm colored and I love Trump. I'm glad. Oh my God, you got to be kidding. This fool said, I'm colored and I support Trump. That is wild. This motherfucker. Hey, yo. Ricky Manor, bro. You dog. You're colored? Come on, man. Who you fooling, bro? You ain't fooling me. But it is what it is. Queen Sugar Free Mars, Kamirin. Thank you guys for coming through. Thank y'all for hitting the like button, please. You know what I'm saying? My Wi-Fi wife is in the building. You guys say hello. But I got to run in here and get. I want to touch on something, right? Maybe I'll just finish up before I go into the Red Mar. Kamirin says, I previously wanted to become a psychiatrist before learning about the pushing pills method, and that is how I made the decision to practice currently providing psychotherapy. I love it. Psychotherapy is, I love that idea better. Now, here's the thing. I'm a military vet, and I when my back was really acting up, like, you know, I got rear-ended and all that. When my back was really acting up, it aggravated my injury that I sustained when I was in the military. And I, believe it or not, I was walking around with a cane for quite a minute. I was walking around with I had to use a cane for quite a while. And you know, I wasn't feeling that. But you know, I went to the VA, you know, and saw this doctor and discussed a few things about my service and all that. And so she diagnosed me with depression, right? Diagnosed me with depression and tried to say I had post-traumatic stress disorder. I disagreed. But that's neither here nor there. The bottom line was they wanted me to talk to a psychiatrist. And so I was like, okay, whatever, right? The psychiatrist called me to make an appointment. So that's what I did, or their people called me to make an appointment over the phone. He wanted to have an appointment over the phone, which was kind of interesting. So yeah, we set the appointment and the guy called and we talked for about 10 minutes and he really didn't care about what I was talking about. And all he wanted to do was subscribe me Prozac. I'm like, Prozac? This is some crazy shit. Prozac and some other shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really interested in that. Probably spoke to you a few minutes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Queen Kamirin. That is exactly what happened. They wanted me to discuss something for a few minutes, and then that's exactly what happened. It wasn't no real session. I was like, no, doc, don't send me no Prozac. I'm good. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, I decided I was going to do something for myself to improve my mental health. And I think I was just going through something because my back was hurting and I couldn't really get around like I wanted to. And yes, I do think about certain things during my service that happened. But, you know, it's natural for people to think back on things and feel a little sadness, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So, whatever. I decided to, you know, while I was trying to recover from the accident, and I started going to Muay Thai classes, even though my neck was still fucked up and all that other shit. And that's how I decided I was going to turn my life around and quit feeling sorry for myself. Sugar Free Mars says they push pills for everything. If you get your keys, they throw a pill. Exactly. You know, I've been complaining about my little short-term memory issue to y'all. If I discuss that with these motherfuckers, they be trying to give me all kind of shit. No, especially if I went to the VA and I started talking about that, oh, they try to take my right to keep bear arms away. Yes, they would. Believe that to retrieve that. They will do that. Yeah, they'll give me a fucking court order and say, oh yeah, this guy can't, you know, this is the type of shit they do. But here's a reason RFK might have a problem getting confirmed. understand that Big Pharma, right, all these companies, Pfizer, Moderna, all these motherfuckers, they get together to form what is known as a special interest group. Big Oil does it. Gun people, gun control activists do it. Gun companies do it, right? So Big Pharma and Big Medicine, not Big, that's the same thing. Big Pharma and Big Hospital, however you want it, the health industry, the so-called health industry, they have special interest groups that lobby for these Congress people and these senators to do what they want them to do, to vote in their favor or to not vote in their favor, right? They pay these people to act in their favor. So and they'll have people on both sides, right? They'll have people on the left and the right. So my concern is that Big Pharma is going to lobby for these people, right? The senators and the Congress people that have to confirm Robert F. Kennedy. They're going to lobby for them to go against Robert F. Kennedy. That's what I feel is going to happen, right? They're already like talking about how the Republicans in the House, in the Senate, they're not really, Donald Trump is going to have a hard time. See, this is what I keep trying to tell everybody, right? About this whole Donald Trump president. Everybody thinks it's going to be roses and popcorn, right? They think it's going to be smooth sailing from here. But they're going to bust Donald Trump's balls, right? And it's going to be hard for him to get a lot of shit done. They already have an issue with Tulsi Gabbard being the Department of National Intelligence Secretary, right? Donald Trump picked her to be the head of the Department of National Intelligence, which means that she would oversee all the intelligence companies, all the intelligence agencies, which is like 20. There's like 23 or so, 17 or something like that. They already have a problem with her. They're already talking. They're saying, "Oh, well, she doesn't have an intelligence background and all this, that, and the third." Like, I mean, you got people in the intelligence community speaking out against Tulsi Gabbard being the head of that department. But she served in the military. I mean, she is a veteran. She served as a congresswoman. So, but this is what happens, man. Right? This is what happens. Donald Trump are picking these people that these motherfuckers don't like. They don't like these picks because they feel like, again, they're going to upset the apple cart. They have special interest groups they have to answer to. They feel like Tulsi Gabbard is probably, because, Donald Trump says that he's anti-war. He wants to end wars. He wants to, he doesn't want to spend money in Ukraine. He doesn't want to spend money in Israel. He's already talking about diverting funds from Israel, not Israel. He's not saying Israel. He's already talking about this diverting funds from the Ukraine and, spending it on veterans and, taking the homeless folks off the street and putting them in tent cities in on federal land that's unoccupied. He's already talking about diverting funds from Ukraine. And these motherfuckers, big defense, these big defense contractors, they also have special interest groups. They're also forming special interest groups that are going to lobby against those things, right? But the only issue with that is that Trump doesn't have to go through legislation to divert these funds from Ukraine. Because very important topic in the country from a lot of health issues due to and a lot of environmental factors, what they put in the food, what leaches in your water from these water bottles, all type of stuff. And these corporations benefit from you being sick, from consuming this crap. Let's see what y'all talking about. Sugar-Free Mars says the people he's been electing and suggesting for seats have a lot of people like, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, right? They're going to hamstring him. They're going to hamstring him. That's why I mean, come on. That's why I said it doesn't work like that. A lot of people don't understand civics, right? Shaking my damn head, but he's got Zionists in seats. Exactly. His support of Israel is without. That's why I said, I almost said he's going to divert funds from Israel, but that ain't going to goddamn happen, right? But he is going to divert funds from Ukraine. That's what he's probably going to do. Keith Thurman. What's up, Keith Thurman? The Democrats won't confirm anybody that he picks. He doesn't need Democrats. The longer them stall, the more upset the public will get. No, that's not. He doesn't need the Democrats. He's gonna have. It's not even the Democrats. He's gonna have issues with Republicans confirming motherfuckers. I mean, I talked to you guys yesterday or the day before about how they elected to have John Thune out of North Dakota or South Dakota be the majority leader in the Senate. And John Thune has spoken out against Donald Trump, and he's a Republican. He's spoken out vehemently against Trump, called him an insurrectionist, right? Called him an insurrectionist for January 6th, all that type of shit. And they're also talking about they don't want Donald Trump to pardon the January 6th motherfuckers, right? I mean, but if you look at what happened on January 6th, you had people that were allowed into the building, right? They were ushered in by the popo. And then you had the people on the other side that were climbing through windows. And they don't give a fuck, right? And let's not forget, they're already they're starting to invest. They're going to investigate Nancy Pelosi for her role in January 6th for not allowing Donald Trump to place National Guardsmen at the Capitol to prevent the very thing that they're fucking going after him for from happening, right? They're trying to blame him for January 6th. But he tried to boost the security of the Capitol building, and Nancy Pelosi turned it down. You see what I'm saying? But they went through this whole fucking charade for 3 years going after these old ladies and all these motherfuckers that are walking around. And like, listen, again, it's another dog and pony show, right? Another dog and pony show. They want to convince you that it's not okay for you to redress your grievances to the government. But as part of the Constitution, you have a right to regress grievances. Or not regress. You have a right to a redress of grievances against the government. And going to the Capitol and telling them, hell no, motherfucker, we don't like what you're doing, that's your right. You pay for that Capitol building. We pay for that. We pay for it to be maintained. We pay for it to be built. And for all intents and purposes, that's our fucking building. So if we want to go up there and say, hey, what the fuck you doing up in here? We have every right. All right. I don't know how to read that. Is that Greek? I don't know how to read Greek. Keith Thurman said Pelosi wouldn't let him have troops. Well, she would not let him place troops at the Capitol building. It was up to her, because she was the Speaker of the House. So it was her responsibility to ensure there was enough security on January 6th. But she turned down Donald Trump. He couldn't just do it, right? It was her responsibility. Sugar Free Mars says Pelosi needs to get her walker and walk around. I don't even know how she's still in that motherfucker. I like, for real. Why would you want to be 99 years old still in government? Like, come on, get your old ass up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, miss me with the bullshit. But I mean, and that's another problem we're having, right? It's just no term limits. It's just get the fuck out of here, man. Move your ass home. This is why I don't like government. I'm very anti-government. I don't understand why we feel like we need them, but here we are. That hoe is 1,097. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. But I mean, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. Big Pharma, they have a lot of money. They're trillions of dollars worth of money. They're worth trillions. And if you think that, so let's say RFK gets confirmed. And then he starts to try to make changes. He's going to have a problem just with passing legislation, getting legislation passed that would greatly reduce, right? So let's say, he wanted to outlaw certain chemicals in foods. He's going to have a very difficult time with that. If let's say he wanted to ban certain preservatives in vaccines and medications. Let's say he wanted to outlaw and ban certain things. He's going to have a very difficult time getting legislation passed, even if he gets confirmed. Because of the way it's all set up, right? The checks and balances and all this, that, and the third. But in reality, I told you guys what he could do, what Donald Trump could do to make it work. All he has to do is invoke 18 U.S. Code 241 and 18 U.S. Code 242. Conspiracy, right? Conspiracy to deprive rights under the color of law and deprivation of rights under the color of law. It is your right as a human being not to have certain chemicals placed in your foods that you go buy, not to be injected or to be is prescribed medication that will give you dangerous side effects. You have a right as a human being not to have this happen, right? You have a right as a human being not to have your water, not for them not to put fluoride in your water. I mean, yeah, in your drinking, in the water that you get from, from the city, right? Because we know those things are harmful to you, right? Yeah, will fluoride strengthen your, yeah, but what at what cost, right? At what cost to your thyroid will fluoride help your teeth, right? There are other things you can do to strengthen your teeth, right? You don't need fluoride to strengthen your teeth. I mean, come on, it's 2024. Queen Camilla says, hell yeah. Been walking the land since werewolves and when vampires allegedly walked the earth. That's funny. I mean, so listen, y'all. Look, I like Robert F. Kennedy. I like what he be talking about, and he seems legit in regards to how he feels about this type of shit, right? How he feels about big pharma, how he feels about big foods and what they're and these chemicals and how they are making America sick, right? Because that's what they're doing. And again, I talked about a couple weeks ago. Queen Camilla was here when I was talking about autism and the rise in autism. And I talked about how a lot of it is psychosomatic. People, for whatever reason, they just want to be autistic. They want to be on the spectrum. And a lot of that has to do with what they're putting in their bodies, right? A lot of it has to do with what they're eating. A lot of it has to do with what they're consuming through their eyes, right? Through social media and propaganda and, all the shit they're putting out for people to watch. I mean, what you consume through your eyes is just as important as what you consume through your mouth, right? If you don't have any discernment, because some people can consume content and have a level of discernment to where, okay, I'm not going to be influenced by this, but it's good to know what they're putting out there for other people to be influenced by. Some people don't have discernment. They can't look and watch something and think that, and really question what they're watching, really question what they're seeing. Most people don't have that discernment, right? Just like some people don't watch TV because they feel like they don't want to be influenced by the propaganda and what they're in, all the bullshit. Me, I love watching shit. I love to see, give me all the content that I can consume because I have discernment. I can discern what's bullshit and what's not. I can fact check. I can do research. I can use common sense to make my own decisions about what I'm watching. I don't have to just go with what people are saying, right? It's funny because a lot of people do that in the boxing world. See, a lot of what happens in boxing is very, very pertinent to what is going on in the real world, right? But it's very interesting how people, and the funny thing is they're with the information age and all this access to information that we can get. people still choose to just go with the first thing they hear that confirms their beliefs, right? Confirmation bias. You have confirmation bias. So the first thing you hear that goes with what you believe, that's what you're gonna go with. You're not gonna say, you know what, that sounds good, but let me go see what this other motherfucker's talking about that's not really speaking to what I believe. Then I'm going to take the information from both these sources and I'm going to do my own fact checking. I'm going to do my own research and I'm going to determine whether or not I want to go with either or I can frame my own decision that's independent of those two sources, right? Because there's always more than just this or that, right? There's always nuance, right? People operate a lot of times on confirmation bias, not just confirmation bias, but also false choices, false dilemmas, false dichotomies. No, there's more to it than just those two dichotomies. There's more to it than those two choices, right? Just like if you're an American, you have to either vote Democrat or Republican. Those are false choices, right? Those are false choices. And it's not even, you can have three choices that are false. Oh, you can vote Republican or Democrat or third party. You don't even have to do that. There are other things that you can do. You can, if you see the bullshit, you don't have to participate. That's another option. I don't know what it is. Why people think that if you don't vote, you don't have a say or you can't complain. No, motherfucker, I still am affected by what you guys vote for. What are you talking about, right? I still am affected, even if it doesn't matter if you vote, don't, right? Because somebody's going to vote. Enough people are going to vote to where it influences your everyday life. So I have a choice, and to say when you voted for fucked us over. So I actually have more right. I have more laws to speak out than you do because you voted for the motherfucker that fucked us, right? You voted for the person that's screwing us over. You voted for the person that allowed all these motherfuckers to come across the border and do all this silly shit. You voted for that. And even if you didn't vote for that person, you still participated in the system. You still showed the system that, hey, I believe in this system. I believe in this system of voting is going to help me get my help me with my everyday life, help improve my life. You're submitting to the system. So because you submitted to the system and your guy didn't win, you're still responsible for what the guy that did win does because you gave it substance. You added substance to it, right? Every person that votes adds substance to the system. If you want the system, if you know that the system is fucked up, if you know that it's corrupt, if you know that it ain't no good, it's tyrannical, the best way to start breaking it down is not to give it any fucking life. Don't give it life, right? Spread awareness, right? Spread awareness. Say, hey, look, man, this is what's really going on, right? Just like with this RFK thing. Yes, it looks like a good look, right? Because Robert F. Kennedy don't like Big Pharma. I don't like Big Pharma. He speaks to what I believe in regards to that type of shit. And I could say, oh, you know what? Maybe Donald Trump is on to something. Maybe he's doing something because he's upsetting the apple cart so much, because he is bringing forth people that the system speaks out against. Okay, that might be the case, or it might not. It doesn't matter if he's doing it through the system. You get what I'm saying? I was a long time ago, a few years ago, I was speaking out against this young lady named Cynthia G. Okay, I was well, I wasn't speaking out against her. She went on the Black Conservatives Perspectives channel, and they were having a panel. They were discussing things, right? And she was talking about black men being impotent and not having any power and this, that, and the third, and we're weak and all this. And I was like, I went on to Irene Yvette's panel. I am a moderator for Irene Yvette. Y'all check her channel out, the Black Conservative Perspective. And just like y'all should go check out Sugar Free Mars channel, as well as Queen Camille. Y'all go check those channels out. They're very beautiful, poised women, and they know what they be talking about. I mean, it's beautiful when you get to see these young ladies spit the facts. So y'all go check all those channels out, right? And Irene Yvette is another one. Yeah, impotent. That's what she said. Cynthia G is a divester who thinks that if you get pregnant by a black man and the baby is a boy, that you should kill it. That's what she believes. But so in her mind, the system has weakened black men. We're buck broken by the system, right? We're buck broken by the system. And, she thinks she knows the system is corrupt, and she knows that the system has buck broken black men. Like we don't have any power, basically is what she's saying. We're powerless. We basically submit to, the white leaders of the dominant class, the dominant culture. And I would say, yeah, she has some, there's some truth to that, but there's a reason for that. It took hundreds of years for that to happen, right? It took a lot of conniving, deceiving, underhandedness, and it's just a whole history. But I said to her, so what do we need to do, right? Because y'all know I'm an anarchist, right? I'm an anarchist. So when I love to catch statists contradicting themselves, because so many of them suffer from cognitive dissonance. And I said, so you said the system holds the black man down and makes us powerless. You said that we're weak, and the white man is they buck broke us, and they're our masters, and this and that and the third. I said, so how do you suggest we turn that around? What do you want to see? She told me that we need to go to court. Yeah, she said black men need to go to court and fight through the court system to gain freedom and power. Sugar Free Mars says, right, but the powerlessness is contingent upon the awareness of our brothers. Exactly. As soon as we decide to go to war, that's it. And I'm gonna speak to that, Sugar Free Mars. I'm gonna speak to that after this. But I said you want to use the system that you say made black men weak and powerless to gain power from the what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So that's what she said she wanted us to do. She said, y'all need to go to court. Go to court, fight the system through the court system. And I'm like, but that's their system. Why would we use their system to do anything to improve ourselves? Why would we do that? That doesn't make any sense. You want to use the white man system to benefit black folks? Why would we do that? Why would we? You just said the system was built by making us powerless. Why would they give us power just because we're going through it? What are you talking about? See, that's that silly shit, right? But we know Cynthia G is whacked out. But it is what it is. I don't like disparaging women, so I'm not going to go further with that. But y'all get what I'm saying. And Sugar Free Mars, she made a very good point. She said, is the powerlessness is contingent upon the awareness of our brothers. Yeah, she is bugging. Yeah, she definitely gagging on that white thing. Yeah, you for sure. Yeah. She's a diverser. That's what they do. They go to the white man that they say is responsible for the destruction of black men and the buck breaking of black. It doesn't make sense. It's circular logic that's completely. Anyway, let me stop. So you said it's depend upon the awareness of our brothers. I 100% agree. She said as soon as we decide to go to war, that's it. Right. So look, every culture has its warriors, right? Every civilization has its warriors. You know where our warriors are? You know what our warriors are doing? Our warriors are the gang members. Yes, the gang members, the dudes, the street dudes, right? The street dudes that have the natural inclination to be warriors. The problem is they are misdirected missiles, so to speak. If we were able to cultivate and raise up warriors from the beginning to focus on the right enemy, well, we will be a powerful force. Right now, our warriors have their attention drawn to each other. They're self-destructive. But if we can help them focus their energy on what it's supposed to be focused on, well, we have more than enough warriors that are really willing to go to war. We just need to divert their attention. A lot of them, like I said, they have this natural inclination to go out there and do warrior type shit. They you know what I'm saying? Defend territory, be aggressive, protect the women and the resources and all that, like the blocks, right? And the colors. Listen, we won the first, right? If you go back to ancient motherfucking England, these motherfuckers had flags and they was raising flags with sigils on it, and you didn't disrespect the sigil, and they had colors too, right? I mean, it's just COINTELPRO ensured that, listen, let's turn their attention away from government towards themselves, right? And they did that with the US organization and motherfucking, that's how it started. US organization, the Black Panthers in Los Angeles in particular. When that happened, right? The cats from the US organization killed 2 Black Panthers and it went from there. But we know that the Marley Karanga, whatever the fuck his name is, that clown, that's why I don't celebrate Kwanzaa, right? That idiot. He was a fucking FBI agent who was tasked with basically dismantling the Black Panthers. So the warriors of the Black Panthers all across the country, their focus was diverted toward the bullshit, basically. And so that's where that came from. All we got to do is get our warriors back on the right track, man. That's all we got to do. And then you have and not all warriors in the Black community are in gangs, right? Some of them, like myself, join the military, or they go into construction. They do something where they can act out their aggression and work with their hands, right? And so, that's just it. We just got to get the focus back. But yeah. Anyway, y'all, let me get on out of here, and I gotta get going back to the house. Yes, it is disgusting. And the street dudes are purposely placed in environments to keep their flames placed on each other instead of the real enemy. Exactly. Our warriors are in the streets. Our warriors are the ones that are on what was it, 48 hours, whatever the fuck that show is called. Our warriors, they just need to be refocused. They need purpose again. They need attention. They need attention placed on them and letting them know they're valuable, and where we should focus their attention. That's what we need, But anyway, thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate you guys engaging and hitting the like button and watching. But yes, RFK is probably going to have a hard time getting confirmed, and once it gets in there, he's probably going to have a hard time. They get a lot of money, by the way. The Department of Human Health Services, they get like $2 trillion a year, but they have a lot of mandatory spending that they have to do. But they have a lot of money to do a lot of shit. So, I mean, he could be very effective if it is what it is. Keith Thurman, yes, whoa. Anyway, much love, y'all. Thank you for coming through. Please hit that like button on the way out and like, share, subscribe, and we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.